What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. It is Monday, July 20th. We have two pairs of great guests in the building. We are going to learn today about the Pro Football Hall of Fame kickoff, which will be kicked off this year with the Balloon Classic. That is a little different than normal years. It is usually kicked off with the Community Parade, but the Community Parade will be the following weekend. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about some special opportunities to go to the Balloon Classic and not just go, but to get under a nice big tent, have some food, some VIP parking, some other things. But even if you just want to go, we want people to go. We think it's so important for people to get out in our community and actually participate in the things that are going on. It's easy to say there's nothing going on in this community, but we actually have some pretty amazing things going on in the community. I also have my good friends Rachel and Mandy here from Team Hope and Team Legacy and something else. They're going to correct me when they get on here and tell me exactly the names. But the most important thing we need to talk about is the fact that life insurance can be life-saving for those after a loved one is gone, in that people are often struggle with the cost to bury their loved ones. And we're even going to talk about, unfortunately, we have to think about insuring our children. And it's a difficult conversation because so often we don't want to think about that. We never want to think about insuring our children because we never want anything to happen to them. But if sadly something happens to some of our young people, the thought of having to pay for that and scramble with finances is just one more thing that no family should ever have to do. So we're going to talk about that today. And our hearts and prayers go out to those who have lost loved ones. Over the past several weeks, there's been some very sad things going on in our community: crime and violence and deaths and shootings, and people are losing their lives to shootings. And then the other young people who are making whatever decisions they're making are losing their lives to prison, and families are losing their young ones. And we have to continue to stay active in our community, continue to think about our young people, thinking about things. We had Terrence Jones on several weeks ago talking about youth employment. There are things that surround a community. When communities are dealing with impacts of economic impacts and poverty and struggling, it lends to more things like this. This is just how it always goes. And we take these things for granted, that we need resources, we need help, but we have to do what we have to do. And then we also have to do what we can to help ourselves. So we're going to have a conversation today about how we can be insured, how life insurance, if hopefully your young ones nothing happens to them, but how life insurance can pass money down. You may not be of a family that has generations of money to pass down, but a life insurance policy on myself could do that for my children. So thinking about things like that, we're going to talk about it today. We're also going to talk about all the wonderful things going on with the Pro Football Hall of Fame festivities, which are really exciting. I think we can easily take it for granted living in this community, like, oh yeah, it just happens, or whatever. It's just, another year, or I don't go to that many things, or there's always something wrong, right? Of course, right? There's always something wrong. It rained at this. The balloons didn't lift off. I saw a Hall of Famer and I waved at him and he didn't wave back. It's like that happened to me when I was young. I was like, he didn't wave at me. I don't know why he doesn't like me. They're very busy. They're not trying to ignore people. But we want to talk about all the positive things. We're so fortunate to be in a community that has this, and I'm excited to help be an advocate and be someone who is helping promote these things. So we're going to talk about that this morning. Let's share this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not shared it yet, depending on where you are watching from, you can share it in various ways. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitch. What is Twitch? I don't know. It's what the young people are on. Whatever. Is anybody watching on Twitch? I have no idea. But if you are, one day we'll be on here and we'll be out there with all the young people. And we want the young people to know what's going on in our community as well. So we're going to continue to find ways to reach them and be in those places and spaces as well. And one day we'll be on Streamer University or something. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know that I have all the time for all that, but I'm sure those who do it are having a lot of fun. All right, we're going to share this broadcast. I'm looking at it right here. Okay, boom. And then I'm going to say, tune in. Now's the time. Join us. Let's go to my personal Facebook. We are live at Lucas Live Media, and I am excited. We had some fun things going on. Let me shout out our sponsors real quick. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Sarda. We thank them for continuing to support us as we support them and all the great things that they do, keeping our community moving. Such a key resource. I often think about the things like these very, very hot days we've had and how people just being able to get on the bus. One, they're helping take people to cooling centers and warming centers in those times, but also being a cool place to ride, as well as get to where you need to go. And they are adding new things. Shout out to their new executive director, CEO, Ralph Lee. We will have him in studio soon. We've already had him on before, but we will have him back to talk more about it. Shout out to Jessica Danielle Nails. If you don't know Jessica Danielle, you need to know Jessica Danielle. Jessica Danielle is the nail artist of nail artists here locally, and she trains her team to be amazing. So check her out, Jessica Danielle at the Nail Bar here in Canton and NC Nail Lounge in North Canton. Also, shout out to Linda Reibenstein of the Linda Reibenstein team. She's been doing real estate for over 20 years. Phenomenal lady, honest, real, gets the deal done. Check out my friend Linda Rivenstein, and shout out to Ace Carpet Cleaning, a part of the Jenny Can Cleaning Company. We're going to be doing a giveaway along with Jenny Can Cleaning for some free things for you guys to win. Make sure you check them out at Ace Carpet Cleaning. It is that time of year. And even if you have a business, some businesses, you got to get your carpets clean. You got to do that. And you'd probably, maybe you've been with someone forever and you're like, we just always go with them. Consider checking out another local business, Ace Carpet Cleaning, especially if you're using one of the big ones. That's not a local business. When we support local businesses, we create local jobs and it has an impact locally. So consider checking them out. All right. We also had the R&B Fest this past weekend. Great time. Shout out to the city of Canton pays for this. Okay. So our city pays to bring these acts in. The team at Centennial Plaza and the Civic Center, Blake and Wendy and the team there organize these things, plan these things, put these things on. And this year they've added more events. There were more paid events too, though. So it was going to be at Centennial Plaza, but the weather wasn't looking so great. We had smoke in the air one day, then it was storming. So we were at the Civic Center. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, it was amazing what they did there. The Civic Center is a big place. When you go from Centennial Plaza to the Civic Center, I was thinking, like, it could look real empty in here. It could look really rough. But they made it look amazing, and there were so many people there. Brownstone was the headliner. 90s R&B group was so cool. Sunshine Anderson also came and performed, as well as Light the Flow Minister, as well as the Robert Johnson Effect and the Michael Austin Experience. And we also had the unit band, and it was just absolutely incredible. Who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing somebody. I don't know. I think that was everybody. Shout out to Mark Bigsby, who also helped coordinate some of these things, as he always does. He was out of town. Him and his wife were out of town, so he wasn't able to be there. But he was certainly a part of making sure this thing came together. So we're super excited about it. Shout out to DJ Charlie Parker, who was the DJ. I had the pleasure of being the host. We had a great time. It was super fun. This is a little view. This is my view from backstage. You kind of see, I was shooting from back there in the back. So I got to see everybody, and it was just a great time. So shout out to the city for bringing more things. There's also a concert this weekend. I'm going to look that up and remember the names of the groups who are coming this weekend, but there will be a concert at Centennial Plaza this weekend. So please make sure you guys check those things out as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump into it. We're going to get in with our guests here. These ladies are going to jump on here for a few minutes and talk to us about the Pro Football Hall of Fame kickoff event, the Balloon Classic, as well as your opportunity to get on in. I don't know about you, but every time I go, I look at these huge tents and I'm like, boy, if I only worked for Altman. Or man, what is it? U.S. Acute Care Solutions. If only I worked for them. There's always all these big tents, which are wonderful. They bring their people in and it's amazing. But we're going to talk about how you guys have an opportunity to participate in something like that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, my friends, Miss Darla from the Kent Regional Chamber of Commerce and my friend Lindsay from Canton Culture Collective. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you all doing this morning?
We're good. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Excitement is in the air as we kick off the
Absolutely.
most exciting time in Stark County every year.
It absolutely is. And I think about it often, like, man, we don't realize how great we have it, right? We see Pro Football Hall of Famers, the biggest sport in our nation, right here in our city every year. And we have a whole 3 weeks of celebration leading up to it. So
Absolutely.
we're going to talk about it. So there's some special things going on this year with the Balloon Classic. Talk to us about what do we have coming up?
Yes, it starts this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. The Balloon Classic will kick off. The weather right now is looking beautiful. We're very excited for that. But we expect a weekend filled with balloons and drone shows and food and craft vendors and all kinds of things. Special this year, new is a dawn patrol. So Dawn Patrol means that the pilots, the air balloon pilots, have a special license that they can go up at dawn, while it's still dark outside, which is wild to me, thinking about going up in a hot
I
air
know, right?
balloon
In the
while
dark,
it's
but whatever.
pitch dark outside. But can you imagine what it's going to look like as they're glowing in the sky? So they'll go up about 5:30 a.m. on Friday morning. So that will kick the whole thing off. You'll see those in the air,
Okay.
and then we'll start a media flight right after that at 6:30. So
Love that.
yeah.
I've had the opportunity of doing the media flight before and going up in a hot air balloon, and it was really funny. That year I was actually trolling. I was doing this to create, it was like a marketing stunt. But I like asked people, I was like, should I do it? Now I had already committed to, I was already like, I was gonna do it. I think it was the time when Kelly was there, and I said, yes, of course I'll do it. Even though I'm not the biggest daredevil, but I was just like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You got to try it. And it was the most beautiful, most peaceful, amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're literally floating through the air.
I did it last year and I was so nervous about it. And then when we lifted off the ground, I didn't even know we were up. Like all of a sudden, it's just this sense of peace and beauty. So it's going to be a
Yeah,
great weekend.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So there's some special things going on this year where people can be more involved. What do we have going on?
Yeah, so we've got the Soaring Soirée back this year.
Uh-huh.
We started it last year.
Okay.
So you mentioned earlier that like you're walking by, you're seeing these giant tents from big employers, and we're
Mhm.
like, how can I get in there,
Right.
right? Like I want to be in
What
a
I have to
special
do.
tent.
Right.
So we listened to that and we partnered with the Canton Culture Collective, which Lindsay runs here, and really crafted an exclusive experience that if for people that really want to get out of the fray a little bit, have an elevated experience, still be able to enjoy all of the amazing things that are happening at the Balloon Classic and see the balloons and the drone show and the people and all of that, but have a dedicated spot to sit. You got VIP parking, you've got elevated food and drinks and unlimited and entertainment galore. So it's a way to kind of step into the Balloon Classic in a really special way. So we had great success with it last year, and now this year it's been phenomenal. The amount of people that are really interested in it. So we're excited.
That's super cool. The Soaring Soirée. Is that how
Soaring
you say it?
Soirée.
Yes,
I
and
love that.
yes, as Darla mentioned, we did this last year in collaboration with the Chamber and the Canton Culture Collective, and it really is a party within the party,
Mhm.
but really a great way for families to attend. Friday night is the family night,
Mhm.
and Saturday night is the adult night. And this year's theme is Safari Untamed. So it's kind of a African safari vibe, and
Love
we have a
that.
lot of really awesome things to go with that. On Friday, we have a special Realm of the Reptile,
Yes.
which
Mhm.
we have this reptile, he's quite famous in
Yeah.
the regionally, I guess. And there's going to be like an animal show for kids with actual African
So
reptiles.
there's a quite famous reptile coming,
Yes,
like a Ninja Turtle or something.
it's
Or like,
true.
or,
Yes,
I
like a
didn't
Ninja
even know,
Turtle
right?
extraordinaire. Yes, we
okay,
found
right.
them. We found them,
With
and
the
they are coming.
karate on the kids, it'll be great.
Yes.
Like, or is it like a jungle terrier? Like, is it somebody who
No,
brings the animals, or it's like a famous reptile?
it's
Or
pretty
something's gonna
legit.
happen.
Yeah, it's really
Okay,
cool. So we're
awesome.
really excited about that. All sorts of really fun like crafts and activities for the kids, little safari hats. We are going to have obviously like balloons, and it's really just a great experience because you can come to the tent. We have fabulous food.
Hmm.
We work with Brian Bailey, who owns Old Carolina, who
Mm,
creates a menu for us each year.
okay.
And this year it's kind of like African inspired barbecue, street food, and
Mm,
tropical sides. Of course, we have things for the kids. So it's really all you can eat there. We have Sicily's Italian icebox coming to have
mm.
the Italian ice and all sorts of other treats for kids. So it's just a really great experience. I was describing it to someone else. It's kind of like you can take your family to Cedar Point and have a regular experience, which is still fine, or you
Yes.
can purchase the fast pass and be able to get a little more out of that overall experience. So we're really
Yes.
providing that for people. And as Lucas mentioned, and that was sort of the inspiration when we decided to create the Soaring Soiree. Unless you did have that special invite, which is really great. I've been invited to the tents before. It elevates the experience. But if you don't have that, this is an opportunity for anyone to be able to purchase their ticket and attend. And again, the parking is great. Friday night, we also have a special field access. So for a small additional fee, you can actually get down on the field with the hot air balloons, take pictures, even sometimes get in a hot air balloon, not necessarily go.
Right.
You're not
Not
going
lift
on a
off
hot air
necessarily,
balloon ride.
but yeah.
Yeah, but you get to experience that.
And
Uh,
what's the cost of the Soaring Soirée if I want to go?
So, regular adult ticket is 125. Again, that includes all your food, beverage, other activities. For kids this year is at
25.
25. We also have a family pack. Um,
So could I just buy one, and send my kids over, and have them bring me some barbecue? Okay, that's just where I'm from. That's how we like. Oh man, the kids, run over there,
Right?
bring us back some barbecue,
They
and get the
might
parking pass.
they might not go back.
I know, right? They might not, right? I
They
lost
might
my
not go
kids
back.
over there in the tent, right?
But it's a really fun home base. Like you can go
Yes.
down and pop out and see the things, and then you're like, "Yay, let's go back to this. We're
Yeah.
thirsty. We're hungry. We want to
I
do
see
something
that.
fun."
I see that for the people who are under those tents often,
Yes.
they're able to spend the day out there. So as you said, the cost is to say not just. I mean, me and my wife go out to dinner, and it's easy to spend $125. It's easy to spend more than that. It's easy to spend. So to be able to get in there and have the whole day, to be able to see what's going on. If the weather got a little weird for a second, you have a nice place to sit. All you can eat food and all of that, I think is
Right.
really an experience. And oftentimes, and I think we live in a town where sometimes we think of things as expensive, and then we go out of town and it costs 50, 75 just to park, like
Oh,
just to
yeah.
just to
So
get
true.
situated.
Absolutely.
And then there's so much more expense. So even just the fact that you're not going to spend a ton of money in gas and all these other things, it's right here in the city. And it is a very unique experience to
Right.
see the balloons
Yeah,
take off.
for people that are looking for a more elevated experience, that VIP parking spot is fantastic to
Yes.
have, but also that field access that it's only offered through the soiree.
Mhm.
Oh, and
So
also the tethered balloon rides.
and the tethered balloon rides. So tethered
That's
balloon rides are
cool.
available at the festival for anyone. They're
Mhm.
$25.
Mhm.
Through the Soaring Soirée, you can purchase a fast pass, if you will. So you could
Great.
skip to the front of the line, like
pretty
literally
cool.
what Lindsay said. You could skip to the front of the line.
That's always fun. You walk past all the other people who didn't,
I
like,
know.
Fast
It's a
pass.
little
should have got
like,
your fast pass, buddy. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you didn't think
Right,
ahead,
sorry,
Only for
but
the Soaring Soirée
Yes.
people.
yes.
Yes.
But that field access, wow, it's incredible because there's only a handful of people that are able to go down there.
Yeah.
Again, it's only offered through the Soaring Soirée, but then you can walk amongst the balloons as they're going up. The pilots are fantastic. They'll walk you
They are
through
great.
like their process of, how they get everything going and all of that kind of stuff. So it's really a magical experience for sure.
I love
Yeah.
it.
And then
Yes.
Saturday night, I'm excited to share. So the theme for Friday, it's an overall safari theme, but Friday night for the families is summer safari. But then on Saturday for the adult only night, the theme is Moroccan Mirage. So it's going to get a little
We
more.
like our alliteration.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
I
really
like
do.
that. I
Summer
like
It's
that.
in all the
safari,
things.
Rocky Mirage.
Yes.
Right.
But this is going to be a little more of elevated vibes. We have this awesome DJ Maiko that's going to be doing really fun, like Moroccan house music. We have a belly dancer that evening,
Henna artist.
henna artist, also a very awesomely inspired, African inspired, Moroccan inspired curated menu for the adults. So it really makes for a great couples night out, date night, girls night out, to be able to experience the Balloon Classic in a different way. And also the price of the ticket, which is the 125 for adults each night, does include unlimited beverages, adult beverages
Oh.
as well. So
She forgot to mention
That
that
can add
part.
up.
Listen.
Yeah.
Hold on. You just
Right?
handled the price of the ticket right there. Okay. Now
That's
we
what I'm
know
saying.
that.
There's a lot of value
There's a
packed
lot
in
of
there.
value packed in
There's a
there.
lot of value
Okay.
packed in
Right.
there.
It's like a cruise.
Yeah,
Like, come on into
exactly.
the cruise. Maybe next year that'll be the theme. Come on
Right?
into the cruise boat. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
So awesome. That's coming up. The Balloon Classic is this weekend. It's this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. We want to go out and miss it. We don't want to. I would say we want to go out and we don't want to miss it. So often, I remembered over the years that the Balloon Classic was here because I would see a balloon in the air. I'd be like,
Yes.
oh right, one time, and now you have to make plans, and then you're starting to think about the parking and all those things.
Yes.
But if you plan ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and plan to go out, there are also great vendors and all the things still,
Absolutely.
the normal
I mean,
things.
Balloon Classic is a free event for
Yes.
the community. So there's no charge to attend. If you park on campus, it's $15 for regular parking. But outside of that, it is a free event. You're certainly welcome to park outside of the campus too if you
Yeah.
want. But we just hope that families can come out and enjoy it because it is a large community event that is just really special to this whole area. So I know a lot of people will be out to enjoy it. I saw the tents going up this weekend
Yes.
as we drove by Kent State Starks campus, and it's just like, okay, it's happening.
It's here, and
happening.
it's kicking off all of the fun things. So it's kind of like Hall of Fame season weeks are here. So
Yes.
it's great. Do you want to tell them how to get tickets, Darla?
Yes, so probably the easiest way for people to get tickets would be to go to HOFEF.com. So Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival, HOFEF.com. And then you can get your tickets. So different tickets for each night, whether you want to go to the family night on Friday, the more adult night on Saturday. Get your tickets pretty soon because we're getting close.
That's awesome. Yeah, get your tickets now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys. We see you guys in the comments. Good morning. Danny says, good morning. You ladies look so beautiful this
Thanks,
morning.
Danny.
Shout out to Danny. She's going, we're going to get her up there in a balloon this
She's
year.
going in a balloon this year. We
That's
tried to get her
awesome.
up last year
Yes.
and the weather didn't hold out for us, but this year it's happening, Danny.
It's gonna
is
happen.
absolutely happening. I've been like stalking the weather app.
Okay.
It's looking perfect,
It's
by the way.
looking
It's really
so
looking
That's awesome.
magical.
But
for
that's a
this
great
coming
thing for
weekend.
us to talk about because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand, the weather could look beautiful and you still can't get those balloons up because, you're in a tiny little
You're right,
thing in
basket.
the air.
With no
Right?
propeller, you're just blowing in the wind.
There's no way to control that thing. So, obviously, for the safety of everyone involved, we watch that very closely and make a decision
Right.
at game time. But it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Then he said she's excited and nervous at the same time. I felt the same way. I was
Me
like,
too. Me
well, you
too.
just did it last year, right? But when you take off, and she's a nature girl, so she's going to take off and just fall in love. She'll probably be like, why are we going down? She'll
Yeah.
be like, keep me up here forever. But
Yes.
it is absolutely amazing. But you're right. A lot of times when the balloons don't lift off, it is 100% for safety. And often, even last year, it looked good. Danny just made a video showing it. And if you looked up, it looked fine. But there's crosswinds. There's things going on higher up that we don't necessarily see.
Absolutely.
The pilots have to look out for those things and have to make a call for safety because heaven forbid something happened to somebody. People would be like, why do we even do this? This is crazy.
Right.
But when the balloons don't go up, they're like, what's wrong with everybody?
Right.
Like, why are you not doing it?
Right. We think
Yeah.
it's worth it for the moments that it happens. And
Yeah.
it's fantastic, right? You've got 40 hot air balloons in the air at the same time, and they're competing and different kinds of balloons. And it's so special for those moments.
Yeah.
And
But even when they don't go off, like last year, due to the weather, they
Yeah.
didn't go off, and it was still a great event. All the balloons were blown up out on the field. People could still see them. Obviously, we do, live for the moments when they do that. But, in the case of inclement weather, it's still a great event.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, quick rundown. So this, we have this Friday, the 24th, ladies and gentlemen, Balloon Classic, 6:30 a.m., presented by Altman. That's the kickoff, right? And then 4 p.m., the Balloon Classic and Night Glow are happening at 4 p.m., and then a drone light show at 10 p.m. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there will not be fireworks this year. 99% of you are tired of hearing fireworks in your backyard from your neighbors anyway. So I don't know why we complain both ways. We're like, too many fireworks, not enough fireworks. But there will be a drone show going on. I know that's gotten bigger and better every year.
It's crazy. Our first year doing it was 2 years ago, and we had 300 drones in the sky, and it was incredible.
Wow.
So last year we upped it, right? We went, okay, we got to go bigger.
Right.
500 in the air, and it was
awesome.
absolutely amazing. This year we had to go bigger again.
Right.
We're gonna have 600 drones in the air, and the technology has just improved so dramatically in that time. So the show lasts about 15 minutes. It's timed with music. So if you're on campus, it will be blasted out there for everybody in attendance. If you're not on campus and you're sitting elsewhere, you can listen to 94.1 WHBC. They're going to simulcast it there. So, I mean, it's incredible. We get special clearance from the FAA and the airport to be able to go extra high. These things are massive in the air. So it's going to be a
It's
great,
worth
great
seeing.
show. Absolutely.
It's worth seeing. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys make plans to come out to the Hall of Fame festivities. We will keep you guys up to date. Darla, but I don't know, you're gonna have to come in every week and keep us posted or something. I
I'll
don't
do
know.
it.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll do it.
let's I would love that. A balloon classic. Also Saturday there is a up and away 5K and free kids fun run.
Yes.
These things I don't even know about what is, I mean, I guess I know about the 5K, but the free kids fun run, is that just the kids in the
Yeah.
5K or
So it's just a lot of kids that their family members are running in the 5K, and then it's their turn after
Oh,
to
that's
be able
super
to run
cool.
and get their little medal and whatnot. You know, when it works out, it's amazing because the hot air balloons are going up in the sky right as the people are going to run the 5K around the track. So it's a pretty cool experience. Even if the balloons aren't going up, then it's a really, really magical.
I love it. I love it. The 26th, also Balloon Classic on Sunday. And then next Saturday at 10:30 a.m. is the community parade. That's a little earlier time-wise, and it's usually on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's usually Sunday afternoon. So
Yeah.
we finally were able to make that switch to Saturday morning. So
Love
it should
that.
be a little bit cooler, not quite as hot for the people that are participating in the
Yeah.
parade. And we're really excited about that change. So we got a lot of units lined up for it. Hope everybody comes out.
Love it. Love it. A lot more going on, ladies and gentlemen. We will keep you posted on the rest of the schedule. We'll have Darla come back and keep us posted on everything going on, letting us know how it's going. Thank you guys for coming in and letting us know what's going on. One more time, the Soaring Soirée. If people want to participate, they can go to, let me see, we've said that earlier, HOFEF.com for tickets to that.
Correct.
Yes.
125 for adults, 25 for kids. Get you in, big tent, all you can eat food, all you can eat, all you can drink adult beverages and regular beverages, but those adult beverages where you can get your money. And then there's parking also available and more.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you guys so much
Thanks,
for coming in.
Lucas. You're the
Thanks for
best.
Yes.
I feel like the real radio now. You know, I'm not just a podcast. It's the radio. Come on in and tell us what's going on in the community before it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first guests were here. You guys are welcome to stay, welcome to go if you guys got to head out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Our next guests are here to talk to us about life insurance, which is something that's very important. Oftentimes we don't think about it, until we lose a loved one, and then it's tough, right? Because then we're trying to figure out how do we pay for these things, and they're going to talk to us about it. And not just that, not just on the sad side, but as a wealth building tool. How can we use it to build wealth in our lives and start on the road to generational wealth and all those things that we talk about and we see on TikTok and Instagram about everybody doing great and building wealth for their families, and we're often like, I don't have a vehicle to do it. As in, I don't know how exactly. I don't own a business maybe, or I don't have a way of doing it. So they're going to talk to us about that. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, my good friends, Mandy and Rachel. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Excited to have you guys here to talk to us about it. Tell me the company names, because I get a little confused sometimes.
So we're independent agents. So the
Yes.
chosen agency is the agency that we're both partnered with, and I lead Team Hope.
I lead Team Legacy.
Love that. Team Hope and Team Legacy, powerful names. If you guys don't know, Mandy is from Maslin, but she's moved to Texas for some strange reason.
TIG.
You didn't have to do that. You did not have to do that. I was not going to say anything about Maslin. I was not going to say Maslin caused you to run to Texas, and then Maslin also brings people from Texas. Anyway, whatever they got to do to win. But anyway, so Team Legacy, Team Hope, life insurance, not something that people, if they have it, they have it. If they don't, they don't. It can be an expense. People don't really know what it costs. They have to have car insurance. Generally, people have some type of medical insurance. Life insurance is one of those things that people are kind of like, oh, I don't know what they think. Number one, they're like, if I ain't gonna be here, I ain't gonna be here to worry about it. Number two, we're gonna talk a little bit about youth and things like that. And we often don't want to think about things like that. So where do you guys want to start? Where do we begin when we should start thinking about life insurance?
I would say, I think the first thing is a lot of people don't have life insurance, I think, because we are just not informed. So I think it's not because we don't want it. I think some people, it's generational trauma, right? Because sometimes our grandmas and grandpas, we were used to seeing the insurance agent come to the house and he collected the money. And then, when grandma passed, we didn't have a policy, it had expired. So I think some of it is kind of generational trauma and a trust thing. And I think also the lack of understanding that there are local life insurance agents like Mandy and myself that, we can meet on Zoom, we can meet you where you are. But I also think people aren't educated on the affordability of life insurance because it can be rather cheap. And I think we overcomplicate it. But at the end of the day, life insurance is simply buying money for your family. And that's really how we kind of got to switch the narrative about it.
But not just that, I think people are misinformed about the living benefits that come with it, right? So it's not just, when I die, then there's this. There's the living benefits that come with it. So if you have a stroke or you get cancer or just it's almost like your own personal short-term disability that people don't understand or know about.
Help us understand and help us know about it. How does that work?
So it's just so at your job, right? If you have a full-time job and your job has disability, short-term disability, you have to meet certain criteria, right? You have to be off work for 90 days or 6 weeks or whatever that looks like. And you have to have your doctor has to fill out all these papers and you have to have certain conditions, right? And then your job will give you 60% of your paycheck, right? And sometimes you have to fight for that. It doesn't come when they say it's gonna come. And I know that because I'm an HR director. So there's that part. But if you have a life insurance policy, if you have a good life insurance agent, they're going to give you a policy with benefits that come with all of that. And then you don't, from day one, if Rachel goes into the hospital and she's like, hey, Mandy, they've diagnosed me with cancer. God forbid that's not going to happen. But I'm going to call as her agent and say, hey, I need some documents. This is what's going on. They're going to send the paperwork. They're not going to say you have to wait 6 weeks. They're going to send her a check for 70 to 90% of her policy.
Wow.
And she can pay medical bills. She can pay her regular bills. They don't even ask you what it's for. They're just going to send it and you still have your death benefit, right? You still have your policy. So if something does happen to you, your family's still going to be in a position to take care of your final wishes.
They also don't ask for it back.
Correct.
Right? So if you have a $300,000 policy, guys, what we're saying is they're going to give you 70, 90% of $300,000. So we're talking about preventing bankruptcy. Because I think also what people don't know is what causes the most bankruptcy is actually medical bills. It's not student loan debt. It is when, me as the breadwinner in my house, I'm now disabled and I'm getting 60% of my income and I can't make ends meet. So now my kids that are in college, all of the things, it's just disaster from not having life insurance. And literally, guys, sometimes policies that even are $300,000, for example, I just covered perfectly healthy 18 and 26-year-old, they're paying $18 a month for $300,000.
Wow.
So if something happens to an 18-year-old tomorrow, guess what? She may never work again, right? Because what I'm going to say now is, hey, now we have to invest this money and we can make it so now, just because you were spending this and that's why I'm saying life insurance is buying money for those benefits that your job does not offer. And by the way, guys, your job insurance does not always pay out. We have clients that were like, hey, I have a policy from my job. This man passed away last November. His family still has not received a life insurance check. And here's the other thing. When I'm sick, Mandy has gotten me money. But here's the thing, guys. If you have a certain job, like for myself, I'm an entrepreneur. So God forbid I would get maybe cancer where I can't speak. I can't work.
Yeah.
And some of us that are entrepreneurs, so hairstylists, tattoo artists, all of the things where truck drivers, we have to be physically healthy to work. Guess what else happens? Now I'm sick. So guess what? They're going to fire me. So now I have no life insurance, no income.
Job. No. The life insurance I had through the job is gone.
It's gone. And now I'm ill and I have medical conditions. So now guess what? I may not be able to get any more life insurance. So the younger you are, the cheaper you are. All of this, it's really one of those things where it's something that I need to get today, because when you need it, you probably can't get it.
Yeah.
And you can get it as young as 14 days old.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep.
14 days. So if you lock in a policy at 14 days old, you're going to
be paying nothingness.
Nothing.
But it's going to be
Literally.
worth a lot as that child grows.
It's going to be worth
Correct.
a lot. And the other thing that comes with that is something called guaranteed insurability.
Mhm.
So, and especially guys in our community, and this is a big thing I think we don't talk about enough.
And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, share this broadcast. If you've not yet shared the
Yes.
broadcast, share the broadcast or tag someone. Also on Facebook, you can say at family member, loved one, somebody, to get them on to hear this conversation, because oftentimes this life insurance conversation is not an easy conversation to have, especially with our parents and
Mhm.
aunties and uncles and all those things. But for them to hear this information will allow for that conversation to be had. Or you can say, hey, did you see the show? Or, hey, I did. Yeah, I tagged you because I just wanted to make sure we were informed as a family, because heaven forbid something happened. I wouldn't want us to be scrambling or worried or whatever it may be. So tag somebody you know who could stand to have this conversation. So you were saying.
Yeah. So guaranteed insurability. So if you have life insurance at 14 days old, you're covered for the rest of your life, no matter what happens to you, which is key, right? Because literally after 30 in our 40s, right, this is where we start having health conditions, we're diagnosed. And the other thing I wanted to say is, if you guys are intimidated to have the conversation, that's also where Mandy and I come in, right? Because we're not scared of your mom. I'm going to ask her on the Zoom, hey, Mrs. So do you have life insurance, or what's going to happen when because sometimes it is difficult to have, but the problem is this, like on your worst day, right? When one of your loved ones passes away,
Yeah.
especially a child, a young one, unexpected, right? It's hard enough that you have to mourn your child or your mother or whoever it is. But the thought of having to try to plan a funeral and know you have no money, you have no savings. And by the way, guys, the average American family does not have $1,000 in their savings account. So we cannot afford funerals. And the other reality is, we can't afford to donate to your GoFundMe either, because we don't have the money as a community. So it's something that we have to get the word out. We have to take it serious. And then, my last point about the children, in our community, especially, guys, a lot of children are diagnosed with autism right around the age of 2. Guess what? Autism, guys, is very hard to get a
decline.
child covered.
No way.
So,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So it's one of those things about prescription drugs and all of the medical things. But yes, and also, guys, stop letting people diagnose your child at 2. They're not autistic. They just a little bad, right? All of our kids are toddlers at 2, right? They're just out here living their best life with, without the limitations of the world yet. But it's very important to cover our children when they're young, when it's cheap, to protect that guaranteed insurability, and before any of us are diagnosed with something that makes us uninsurable.
That huge point. And we don't realize that a lot of times people will take a diagnosis because it can mean some
Benefits.
some Social Security, some other types of benefits, but that doesn't compare to what you could
Absolutely not.
get.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, I worked
Yeah, I
in
think
early
that-
childhood, and a lot of kids got diagnosed, and
I
some
think
families
it's really
got
just
some
that,
money.
right? Because I think we're supposed to be able to trust our doctors, and we're supposed to be able to go to them for help, and especially when it comes to our children. So a lot of times we're trusting that you're telling me my child has XYZ,
Yeah.
and then they should be medicated, right? And then they need an IEP and all of those things. But those are exactly the things that insurance are going to say, hey, no, we can't cover them because they have XYZ, when maybe that's not. I mean, I don't know. My children, I would have not really taken that. And that was before I knew anything about life insurance. But now I think that's one of the biggest things that is impacting the community. And not so much for life insurance companies. Like their goal is to pay, but we have to understand certain things are for profit, right?
Yeah.
Like I ran a Walgreens, right? Like they're reimbursed more for immunizations than we are for prescription pills, and that's a whole different topic that we can get into. But
That's
we
why the
really-
sign be so big. Come get immunized.
come get an immunization.
It's time
'Cause-
again. It's time
yeah.
again.
And so it's really about what's being put, even like all the things, right? Lab grown meat. Now there's so many things we have to keep
our
track
eye
of for
on
our
because-
health.
Yes.
But really protecting our children and the future impact of not being able to have life insurance, because the average life insurance policy in America also is about $170,000. And that's probably, guys, a cheap term. And that's not a whole lot in life insurance also, right?
Okay.
So that's probably under $40 for most people. So we're also talking about the same amount of money, guys, we go spend at McDonald's or
In a month.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about potential monthly costs and I know it varies.
Mhm.
What is causing costs to go up or down for an individual? For a person out there who's like, they don't know, right? They're like, I don't know, don't know that I can afford another thing.
Mhm.
What should they do? And then if you could break down the difference between whole life and term and those things that we hear thrown around there, but we're just like, I don't know what they're talking about on this infomercial. I gotta go to bed.
But that's the thing. They're listening to these infomercials, and a lot of times that it's not true,
Mm.
right? So our parents get on there and there's Pacific Life and Senior Life. I'm gonna call them out,
Call
right?
them out
Because
now.
they're
I mean,
Pacific Life and
if
Senior
y'all get
Life.
mad Pacific Life, it wasn't me. No.
They're they're on there and they're listening to these. I got $1 million
Mhm.
for $5.35.
You absolutely did
You
not.
did not. There are a lot of things that come along with it, so you have to read what is the fine print,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So um you're not getting that policy right away. Like they're going to tell you, oh yes, I'm insured, but you're not, because if you die tomorrow, your family's not getting that. They may get that $5 that you put into
Mm.
that policy. So there are a lot of different levels
Yeah.
to this, right? Of course, the younger you are, the healthier you are, the cheaper it is.
Yes.
And a lot of times when it comes to children, like between the ages of that 14 days and 18, you can easily, if it's affordability you're looking for, then a term policy is going to be your best bet, right?
Mhm.
Because it's going to be extremely cheap, right?
Mhm.
But that only lasts for a term, like a lease. It's a term, 5, 15, 20, 30 years. Um, and then your whole life is permanent. It's a little bit more expensive, right? But it creates the cash value
Mhm.
in the policy. All of the policies we sell have living benefits, term and or whole life.
What is a
Um,
living benefit?
the living benefits are what we talked about, almost like your short-term disability.
If you
So if you
get
get
ill.
sick,
Okay.
right, that's where you can cash in your policy,
All
even on a
whole life.
term.
Did you say term? Does term have a living
Yes,
benefit?
Yes.
we have term. We
Mhm.
do have term policies that have living benefits as well.
Okay.
Yes.
So real quick on that note, shout out Molly Little. What's up, Molly? Hello, hello,
Yes,
hello.
great point, Molly. I just seen that's absolutely the biggest investment you
Yes.
can make in your children.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So for me, if you know me, you know I've been big in the community with kids before I left.
Mhm.
Um, and I made a live last year that some people loved it and some people hated
What'd you
it.
tell them, Mindy?
There were a lot of deaths
Mhm.
going on,
Mhm.
and I won't get into what I said because we on a Lucas live show.
Yeah, don't
But
be messing up my audience. No, just kidding.
I just got on there and I was very real.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are going to the bar and you're spending
Mm.
$200 in a night, but
Mm.
you won't spend $2 to insure your children, and then you expect somebody else to pay for your services, right? And I just said, I'm not going to cater. I told my family, listen, I'll bury you in the backyard
Mm.
before y'all put up a GoFundMe.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
just not going to happen, right? Because we can't expect, and that's the thing. There in our community, there is a lot of, how do I put this? Um, we expect people to do things, right? You're
Mhm.
expected to show up at these things. You're expected to donate. It's not my responsibility. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's
not my
not the
responsibility to pay
community's
for your funeral.
responsibility to take care of your family.
Mhm.
Now I'm all about helping the community. But that you have to take some responsibility. So if I see you in the bar spending $200-300 and ordering rounds for everybody, but then I see you, I don't aren't expecting us to donate because you've lost a loved one. I kind of have a problem with that, right? Especially when we have you that that you're making sure people are getting the information. There has to be some accountability
Mhm.
in that aspect, right? And it's a sad situation because, again, now you're trying to grieve and you're trying to find money, and quite honestly, most people don't get what they're asking for on GoFundMe. And then GoFundMe is taking a percentage. And then you got to wait for it to even pay out. So there's a lot, and funeral homes aren't waiting anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just the
Yeah.
reality of it. So we have to be responsible and we have to be accountable. And as adults, right? People, not just as agents, but people that know, you have to be accountable to your family, right? You have to take, hey, we have to have this tough conversation. We just do.
I
And we
think
have
that
to get it on our parents, our grandparents, or whatever.
I think that's one of the biggest things are those difficult conversations, because we don't want to have those difficult conversations with our parents and grandparents, and we don't want to have those difficult conversations with ourselves or our spouses or whomever
Correct.
about our children, because it is like just something you never want to think about. It's something that you think is just never going to happen.
Yep.
And people think they're like, I've had people tell me that's like wishing death on my children. And I'm like, is it though?
Tomorrow's not
It's-
promised.
Because tomorrow's not promised for anybody.
it would be as though for those for Christian families, for instance, they would never say, I would not want my child to come to know God or to accept Christ because they're so young. I'm wishing death on them that they would know him.
Correct.
They're saying the sooner you know him, the better, right?
Correct.
Is the belief.
Absolutely.
Likewise with insurance, because what the belief is, I am insuring your a place in heaven, say, right?
Yes.
In this case, we're saying at whatever age they are, things happen that they would be covered so that you don't have to go through that. When we talk about covering younger people, children, teenagers, what are some of the costs of that? Because as people listen to this, they may be saying that's a great point. But again,
So I'll
gas
give you an
costs so much,
example.
things cost so much. People are wondering.
I put up a post yesterday. So if we just do $10,000, right? So $10,000 is probably more than a cremation and a service, but that would
$10,000 in coverage.
So $10,000 in
not costing
coverage.
me day one. You're
The
talking
life
about my
insurance
coverage.
payout, $10,000. I made a post yesterday. So for a 17-year-old,
Mhm.
it's $7.75 a month.
Wow.
So to Mandy's point, we sometimes are spending in
We
the bar,
certainly are.
or we got our children walking around with like Balenciaga shoe, right? I'm talking about let's spend $100 a year for $10,000, and that's basic, right? That's just
Can you pay yearly?
you can pay yearly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually.
So people could pay with their income tax check or something.
We
I say
suggest
that all
That
the
is
time.
for the year.
so
I
a
know the
lot
year.
of our agents that are tax professionals, that's what they do. Literally they're managing their clients' finance, and they're like, hey, you can get a life insurance policy. And even sometimes there's also like the cash value.
Yeah.
So you can set your children up to be millionaires. So there's so many different things you can do with life insurance. And if anybody needs a quote, like we literally have an app on our phone, you can text Mandy or I, or send us a Facebook message, drop on our Facebook page, hey, I have a 5-year-old, how much is it? So, I mean, literally, I think the most expensive child whole life we sell, I think, is like $35, and that's $50,000 for maybe like the 15 to 17 age bracket.
Mhm.
And that's just whole life. It's going to be valuable for their whole life. We have another company that does what's called a 10 pay.
Mhm.
So you pay for 10 years and you're done paying.
Really?
So you can
Yes.
start at 14
my
days
favorite.
old. So by the time your kid is 10, you're done paying for their life insurance for life.
Ever. Forever.
What?
So
Yes.
yeah, and again, we're talking,
And
guys,
there's
less than we're
new.
spending on McDonald's. Our kids like,
Right.
we don't got McDonald's money, so I got to pay for your life insurance today. But tomorrow we can go back. So I think the thing that we are trying to get out to our community specifically, because right now the young people are passing away, and we don't know if they had life insurance or not.
Mhm.
But to me, guys, GoFundMe is a for-profit business, and to Mandy's point, you have to wait. When something happens to you or your family, you're calling your agent, me or Mandy. I'm sending my condolences. We're making a call, and we're getting you a check.
Yeah.
Expeditiously,
Mm.
right?
Within
So
24 to 48
so
hours.
the worst time of your life, and it's hard because I don't really get excited like selling life insurance per se, and I thank God I've never had to file for someone's death claim yet.
Mhm.
But for me, the fact that somebody's going to be able to call me and I'm going to be like, oh my God, but I got you.
Yeah.
That is going to be priceless, just to know families are covered.
Yeah.
And Mandy and I also, sometimes maybe it doesn't work. And I think that's another thing we have to talk about, because sometimes we wait,
Mm.
right? And so now your loved one is ill. And here's another thing, guys. Felonies can make you uninsurable.
Mm.
DUIs or drug use if you've had inpatient treatment in the last 10 years. So say like we have insurance on our children and they end up incarcerated and they come out, guess what? They've had insurance this whole time. So that's also why the earlier
And they're not going to lose it.
they're not
No.
going to lose it, because there's no provision. Hey, if you incarcerate, we don't pay.
Right.
It's, did you have it in place?
Yep.
And are you covered? And sometimes with our parents, or when we wait until we have something major, cancer, end-stage renal failure, kidney disease, something major, heart attack, strokes, now you have to get the guaranteed issue policy. And then what that turns into is some people don't understand. That's the policy where there's a 2-year waiting period. So what happens when your loved one, though, is too sick to live for 2 more years? So now that we've waited, the policy I may have to offer you, number one, it's no longer in the budget. And if your loved one doesn't wait 2 years, now what do we do? Right? So also what we want to do is start partnering with funeral homes, because there's people that I've had to say, you know what, based on your loved one's health, I really don't feel good selling you this insurance policy. You may need to go do a pre-need or try to do like a burial plan with the funeral home. So for us, it's really about financial literacy around wishes, around the life insurance is just buying money. You know, the quicker, sooner you buy it, the better. Things like that. But there's pretty much, we can offer a policy to anyone. It's really about the affordability level if you've waited until we've kind of got, you know, health issues and it's too late. But
So you can
sooner the better.
cover anyone.
We can
Yes.
cover anyone.
Okay.
Yep. So if literally someone can have HIV, they can have end-stage renal failure. It really determines, can you afford the policy if you have these health issues, and can you make it through that 2-year waiting period? And then if you don't, the company does refund the premiums that you've put in. But here's the thing, if I have a sick loved one and I bought this policy and they pass away and they send me like $600 back, I know me, I'm going to be annoyed, right? So, but if I was prepaying maybe a funeral service, so there's tons of uses for, like, even term policies can be mortgage protection, which I think sometimes when we buy homes, right, we just had, I can't remember her name, but she talked about, you know, the homeowner. And if you think about it, how we've had to repair our credit, right? We've worked really hard. We've come in our savings. And when we buy the house, we sign mortgage protection, guys, but that's for the bank
That pays
to
the
get
bank.
the money if something happens, if you don't pay.
It doesn't pay for your
That
house.
doesn't pay for your house.
But if you have a term policy, right, which people are like, and this other thing, what is the best policy for you to have is the one you can afford and the one that's in place when you need it.
Because people have different opinions about, well, you should never get term. You should never
And that's
do
why we sell
this.
all types of life insurance. We sell term, whole, final expense, whatever the name of it you want, we sell it.
So
all.
there's various ones. So final expense. So if somebody just wants final expense, say, so that means it'll cover a funeral, it'll cover some things.
It doesn't
gonna-
max out. It
Yeah.
maxes out at like $50,000 depending on your age.
Okay.
Right. So it starts at like 5 and it maxes out at like 50 based on your age. So for me, I think right now, based on my age, my max is 50.
How old are you? No, I'm just kidding. You don't ask a lady how old they are. Okay, I do that.
And then like, so if you go 10 years older than me, then you're going to be maxed out at like 30. Right. So it really just, it depends on your age, your company, your
And
health.
final expense and burial insurance is just a whole life policy.
Yes.
So it's just like the trade name, if you will, but essentially it's whole life. So when you buy
And
that,
they say
it
that
lasts
because
forever.
the minimal amount, like burial, the minimum is the minimal amount. Final expense, burial and final expense are the same thing, essentially,
gotcha.
right? And it's really just for your final wishes, your final expenses. So burial and your little odds and then bills and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So life insurance, if people want life insurance, first of all, you guys are licensed agents. They can talk to you. What do they have to go through? Do I have to run on a treadmill for about an hour and a half?
No, most
Like a
policies.
superhero with some mask on, and they're like, this brother can't
believe
breathe.
it or not,
Don't give him
and this is,
the
I'm
insurance.
glad you brought that up. So believe it or not, most policies that we sell, you don't need a medical exam.
Okay.
So if you are healthy, there's policies you can apply today. You can get approved on the spot, and there's that. And what people also don't know is the medical exam, because we answer this question a lot. Number one, guys, they don't care if you smoke weed. So I've had a lot of people, and they're like medical exam, and I'm like, listen, they're looking for sugar. They're not looking for weed.
Okay, sugar.
They're looking for tobacco and sugar. But sometimes for people that have maybe a health issue that's not serious, taking the medical exam actually gets you a better rate because your doctor is saying, hey, for example, we had a lady we were quoting and she had MS. And usually MS is major, but she literally was on no medication. Her height and weight was great. And when she did a medical exam, she got approved at a better rate, where some company might just say, oh, you got MS, you're a decline. So sometimes, guys, the medical exam, which is a simple blood draw and a urine draw, they will come to your house, they'll come to your job, you can go there. But sometimes having the medical exam gives you a better rate because you have a doctor saying, hey, they're better than,
And we kind of we'll kind of let you know, right?
Mhm.
So we'll say, okay, so because you have XYZ, we can get you this without the medical, but we think you probably should do it just because we can probably get you a lower rate
Mhm.
based on, you know, your meds or what you're telling us, how you feel, all of those things. Cause really it's based on the wording in the doctor's report.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which could be tricky
And
because
it's
you
a
don't know
true
what they
case
wrote.
by
on it.
case
Right,
basis.
correct.
And that's another thing.
Yes.
I'm glad we brought that up. So, for example, there's a gentleman, right? And, you know, he told his doctor, I was going through some things. So, you know, I would have a beer or two watching football. That came across as a mental illness.
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
I
Because-
was
A de-
going
because
through some things.
I
and
was
watching-
going
drinking a
through, you know,
beer.
well, like I was going through a divorce. I was like, you know, having a challenging personal time.
So he went to a therapist and the therapist said, you know, do you drink? Da da da. And he's like, yeah, you know, because he's a truck driver.
Mhm.
So he's like, yeah, like if I'm off on the weekend, Sunday, football, you know, I'm gonna have a couple beers, blah, blah, blah. Based on that, they wrote alcohol dependency.
Wow.
And so, I said, wait a minute. Every man in America
It
is
must have
mentally
a-
ill
come
from
on.
what, November
Listen.
to February?
Right. Exactly.
So it really does depend. And I will say this as a veteran. So let me
This is also great
this is-
information. Veterans tap into this immediately.
let me give you some great advice. I don't care if you work with us and I don't care if you work with another agent. If you are a veteran, insurance companies should not, and are not supposed to
Do not, should
pull
not.
from your VA. If you only go to the VA health clinic,
Mm-hmm.
you get veteran services. Your insurance agent should be telling you, hey, we need to pull what's called a Milliman report. And a Milliman report is what insurance companies use for medical, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a civilian doctor, they're going to see absolutely everything that they've ever ordered for you, every prescription, back from whenever.
Right.
If you are a veteran, that is not supposed to happen.
Interesting.
Because if you go through the VA, if you wait for those records, number one, the VA is backlog 1 year. So you will not get insurance for a whole year.
Wow.
And number two, anything that you've ever said in service or out is going to pull. And if you know, like I know, that is not a good thing because most of us have all kind of PTSD. We've been there for the injury, like we've had some pain, just all of the things, and it is a decline. I'm going to tell you right now. So just be very mindful of what you're allowing doctors to prescribe for you. If you're a veteran, make sure you know, like, hey, do I see? Because he was a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up going to a civilian doctor. And based on that, had he been going to a VA doctor, it would have never hit. He would have got approved and it would have been done.
Wow.
But going to a civilian doctor, the way it's written, the way they look at us, civilian doctors don't understand.
Interesting.
Right? So those type of things all play a part and people don't understand that.
That's fascinating. You're a veteran yourself, so
I
you
am.
understand that. And a lot of people wouldn't know that. I want to call up a comment. Gerald said, great information. I will definitely be looking into this. As a man who is still working a job at my age, Lord forbid anything from happening. But if something did happen, I would like to be covered.
And that's the thing. Your job, the minute you're injured, even when you go to short-term disability, a lot of times people don't know that most jobs after your short-term disability, depending on your injury, they'll let you go. And then you're not covered. They'll cover you on that life insurance while you're on that STD, but like after you're done and they let you, the minute you leave your job, I don't care if you say, if I was Lucas Live employed me and I had life insurance through you, the minute I'm like, hey, Lucas, I'm going to a different company, the minute that HR person hits cancel, terminated,
it's over.
I walk out that door and get hit by a car. I have zero life insurance. Zero.
That happened. My aunt, Rachel, you were on before, and I think I shared this. My aunt passed away, and she had life insurance through the company she worked for. But her illness caused her to be in the hospital for 6 to 8 months. She was in the hospital, in a nursing home. And during that time, her employment ended
Yeah.
naturally.
Yep.
And so did her life insurance.
Yeah.
And how do you plan for that? It's like, I mean, that's tough. That
It
which is
is.
why
Which is
what
why
you
we're
guys
out here
offer
like, hey, you got to get something that you own
is covers.
outside your job.
Yes, it's not the
It has
job
to be a
giving you a
personal.
benefit. It's a nice perk of a job
Yeah.
that they say they offer these things, and that's great,
Mhm.
right? However, if all of it is covered under that job, people don't stay at jobs like they used to, and jobs
You
don't
know-
keep people like they
Listen,
used
in
to.
this
That part.
economy, you cannot, you
Yeah.
can, listen, these jobs ain't loyal. Like,
Right,
don't do it.
right.
Do
Don't
not do it.
trust it.
And here's the other thing I think people don't understand, and especially like older people, right? It's not personal, it's business,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes people don't understand if you are a high income earner and you're older, right? So when I'm an HR director and we're in meetings, we're just looking at, hey, what's the most expensive thing on here? And guess what? It's our older employee that's been here for 40 years. She's making 6 figures. Her health insurance is the most expensive. We're contributing the most to her 401. Like, and guess what? You become a line item that they can cross
Your
off.
liability.
Yeah.
And guys, 300,000 Black women lost their jobs last year.
Wow.
So we also, what people don't know life insurance agents do, Lucas, is we also do fixed annuities. So imagine, right, you're someone, you've gotten laid off, you've gotten downsized, whatever, and you've now got this 300,000 for, and same with our grandparents and our aunts that have been in Republic Steel, Timken, coming out of there with 500. We've never had that amount of money before. So what happens is we've got to have some money to live off on.
Yeah.
But guys, we've never, so now all of a sudden, like, Mandy's like, well, mommy, I need a car. Okay. And we start going and, and then all of a sudden somebody else knows we got money. And before we know it,
You're
we
spending.
shelled our entire retirement out. And now we can't get another job because companies are not hiring, right? And we've got to catch that. And even that, right? Understanding you might, hey, if you got $300,000, we got to talk about what do you need to live on, right? Because we're young, right? We're under 59 and a half. So we're going to take a tax hit. But I would say, okay, Lucas, so maybe you need to take 60,000 out, put it in the bank, but this other 300,000, we have to put in something that's going to grow and not lose money. Because that's another thing people don't talk about is like our retirement, and like we've worked hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're squandering that money because we just
You keep it in a
haven't had,
401k, you put it in a savings account,
or you've
and you're
worked
taking loans.
several
out on this
full-time
stuff.
jobs and you don't know you've got a 401k at your old job, but you were so ready to get out of there and excited about your new job. You've got money floating around unmanaged. So there's a lot of things that insurance agents can help communicate and help you set yourself up for the future.
I love that. I think that this information is really priceless because most of us don't know about it. Most people aren't thinking about it on a day-to-day basis. And, again, back to the young people, it's so sad what's going on right now in our community. And our community is not alone. It's easy to be judgmental and say, oh, Canton's so bad. It's going on in every big
Everywhere.
It's
city.
everywhere.
I mean, we're just a smaller town, so we feel it. We know the names often.
Yeah, I think it's that. We feel it and we know the names. And especially for us, it's like people that we grew up, it's like, and my daughters are, in their 19s and 20s. It's just like, it just hurts.
It
in a
breaks your
different
heart.
way. It does.
Because the sadness, I mean, the saddest thing any parent could ever think of is losing a child. And
Right.
I didn't understand. You don't know until you have children that as a child, your greatest fear is losing your parent.
Yes.
As soon as you have a child, you realize
Yeah.
that I will someday lose my parents. I started Lucas Live Media because I lost my mom. It was the greatest pain of my life and still hurts. However, to lose a child, I can't even
think of
begin
it. Right.
to imagine. And we are praying for all those families out there who
Yes.
recently lost children or your
Absolutely.
nieces and nephews. And
Definitely
we want
sending our
to-
condolences.
and we hope that those families would not. Our goal is this. We planned this obviously not knowing that all this was going to be
Correct.
happening. I think it just happens to be timely, and I hope that families who don't have insurance, who've had to bury their child or loved one without it, instead of being offended that like
We're talking
coming
about-
at you,
yeah.
we're not in any way. This is not what this was planned for. That's not what it's about. But that you all would become advocates for others.
Yes.
That you would cover your other children and yourselves and your family members, and then become advocates to others to say, I never thought my child would go. My child didn't do anything to deserve what happened to
Yes.
them. Whatever went on,
We
and
can even think about, like car accidents,
Yeah.
drownings, right? Like it's,
Summertime.
the number one cause for children is actually it's car accidents and drowning for our little ones,
Right.
right? So it's not just violence, it's all of the things. It's our, our sons that are just getting in the jobs and they're having a trade school job and they, get a industrial job, like Gerald or someone, and you get hurt on your job.
Yeah.
Right. So same rules apply. If you're like, there's no limit. So you may have a tragedy happen, but because you had insurance, now you can just focus on recovering.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even someone close to my family, like they were diagnosed with cancer, just stage 0, had a quick surgery, but had so much money in living benefits, they were able to put a down payment on the house they now live in.
Wow.
Because once you get this insurance money, again, once they cut the check, you do with it what you will.
Yeah.
So it's, you literally can change your life just based on, spending not so much money a month. But I think the thing is, it's the affordability. It's the get it early.
Yeah. What are we talking? And we're gonna wrap here in just a minute. Gerald, thank you again for being here. He said, "Love what you're doing." Luke, thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gerald. I really appreciate it. I care,
Yeah.
and I know others who care.
Mhm.
So I want to bring people on to help inform all of us, because most of us what we were lacking is information and
Yes.
education.
That's the biggest
Mhm.
thing. Is
It's not an
education.
unwillingness to
It's
do
not an
things.
unwillingness, because
It's
most of
a-
us can afford 20, 40, 50.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
We'll
say.
pump it up
Because-
for the right education piece. So I
Yeah.
think it really depends, right? So children's whole life is pretty cheap, right? Max is like $35, like I said, for a 15 or 7-year-old for 50,000.
Mhm.
A term policy, like I said, we just insured a 19 and 26-year-old perfectly healthy young ladies, $300,000 a month. They're paying $18 a month.
Mm.
Okay. If someone wants like maybe a be your own bank policy, now that's when you kind of get into, you need to be putting money into a cash value policy. So some people are like, well, I heard on TikTok, I want to be your own bank. Do you have some be your own bank investment money,
Upfront.
right?
You need a little bit of
But
that upfront.
done right though.
Yeah.
So for example, I think that's one of the biggest things about like entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
We think, oh, we need to figure out business credit. We need to go to a bank. No, you don't. If you have a business that's bringing in the right amount of income, you put that in the policy and you kind of start borrowing or loaning it against to yourself. And that's really more of a strategic strategy, but that's even leveraging a whole life policy strategically,
Yeah.
right? So there's more into it than that, but that's the same policy that people say, hey, I'm going to make my child a millionaire at 65, and you invest in the money. Some of those policies you can use as collateral, right? So for example, my neighbors that just moved from across the street from me, they're like 25, and I'm like, how did I buy this house when I was in my 40s? It's because companies know this. So the Rockefellers,
Yeah.
wealth is built on cash value life insurance.
Mm.
McDonald's,
Yes.
JC Penney, every time JC Penney goes into financial trouble, they tap into their own cash value life insurance and get themselves right.
Mhm.
Stanford used to pay their teachers' salaries on that at one point. It's just Walt Disney built Walt Disney Land
Wow.
because his investors were like, we do this, we don't do amusement parks. So he said, cool, I'm gonna take my money and fund it. And
Look at what
That's-
it became.
so
Yes.
it's a different level of power. And I think when you start dealing with that, to me, we have to understand our community, guys. Money goes places that protest can't.
Mm.
And that's what we got to figure out.
Yeah.
That is where we need the game changer in our communities to understand that the average life insurance policy in America is like $170,000. Let's think about the last couple of people in our families that have passed away. Like what that injects into the community is also life changing.
Yes.
So when we have government cutting nonprofits and funding, when you're funding yourself, they can't cut that.
Right.
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 Guess what else, guys? You cannot, child support can come get your life insurance. You cannot be sued for your life insurance.
Mm.
So there is some definite facts
Benefits,
and
yes.
education that, you
But
just
not
gotta
even just
call Mandy or Annette,
entrepreneurs,
we'll
though.
tell you.
Right.
You have to think nonprofits are also eligible for this.
Mhm.
Like we tried to have an event.
Churches.
Meaning,
Before-
what do you mean?
So-
Eligible
so-
as an entity?
Yes.
Yes, as an entity. So
Mhm.
a nonprofit or a
Hmm.
small business
Business
like,
key man policies.
are
Our
a
cash
thing.
value life-
Our
that's how
cash
they're
value
paying
life
those.
insurance policy. So when you think about, so when you know who came into office
Mm-hmm.
and all of these nonprofits were
Mhm.
minority nonprofits, their benefits were, their grants and stuff were being cut, right?
Right.
So had they had life insurance policies in place, you can pull from that life insurance policy because it's a cash value policy, and you can still actively do what you're doing in the community, and that cash policy still grows. That goes for churches, it goes for any nonprofit organization. And there's ways that it can be structured that every month, every 60 days, when there's events going or you need the community's not donating, right? You have your own donation as a unit.
Interesting.
And you can pay and still continue to function as your organization. So the life insurance is not just death. It is a wealth building strategy. And I will say I have 5 grandchildren, and all 5 of them don't just have children's whole life policies. They have index universal life insurance policies. My grandson is the oldest. By the time he's 59, he'll be sitting on over $1 million, and I pay $50 a month.
Wow.
And also, you can have more than one life insurance policy.
You can have
under
more than
so.
one. So
you
there's
can
that,
have
like,
the cash value, and then you can have the term to cover your mortgage. So there's a lot of different things that
there's
you
a lot
can
of way to
layer
build it.
in.
And you don't, my thing is, and I've said this from the beginning, you don't have to get it from me.
Yeah.
You don't have to call me or Rachel to get your life insurance policy. We may not be a good fit for you as far as, you want the person that you're working with to be you have to be able to be compatible, right? Like you have a business relationship, right? You have your policies through us. So you don't have to get it through us, but get the education before you go see someone else, right? Because that's always been my main goal.
And ask questions. And ask questions.
Ask the right questions.
Your agent isn't willing to answer every single question you have to make sure that you understand exactly what you're buying, because that is another thing. So, for example, when I put that post up yesterday, right, $7.75 for 10,000. So
what was that?
$7.75
for
$10,000
$10,000
for a 17-year-old.
Interesting.
So I got some challenges. Well, why a whole life policy? Why this and why that? I'm like, listen. At the end of the day, we all need to have insurance. It doesn't matter. So to Mandy's point, like you just need to ask the questions. Not all policies are built equal. Not all companies are built equal, right? Not all interest rates with companies are. So you definitely need to ask questions. And the other thing, every consultation that you get with a life insurance agent is free.
Should be. So don't sit in front of any agent. They're like, it's going to cost you.
It'll cost you 20,000.
Yeah,
this information, because information is free.
Right.
And we just need to help you navigate it, because there's so many different policies and different things that might be the right fit for someone and their budget.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we just want you covered. And when you have the life insurance, you always can add more, right? Because if you're already insured, that guaranteed insurability comes in. So it's really, time is of the essence. So I would definitely, guys, if you know me or Mandy, reach out. We're very responsive. Our team total has about 60 to 70 agents nationwide. We're licensed in probably 20 to 25 states, maybe 30 between the whole team. So if you have relatives that don't live here, we still can serve them via Zoom. We will host events. Listen, if we got to come to your house because mama I'll come to your house. Like, so whatever, however you guys need, we'll meet you where you're at, because this is so important, especially for our community, because like I said, money, you guys know money talks.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be able to, we got to save ourselves when we can.
Yes, because nobody is coming to save us.
I love that. Lori said, this is great information. Lori, thank you so much for checking. That's Danny's mom. Thank you so much for tuning in. What's up, Lori? Thank you so much. Ladies, as always, you guys brought us such great information. I'll be sure to cut some clips from this for us to share, because people need this information. It's life-changing. It's life-saving. Our hearts and prayers go out to people who've lost a loved one. A guy my age recently passed away. It's so sad. Like
there's an infant. So here's the other thing I think people don't know. 8,000 people die in America every day, Lucas. 8,000 every day in America. 8,000 people die. So even as life insurance agents, we can't even get to everybody.
Right.
So, and that's the thing, like we compete with old age, death, illness, sicknesses, and we've got to do
better. And as a community, I would say, as well as a smaller town community, the African-American community, any community, like we really have to educate ourselves, and we really have to start thinking about these things and thinking about the true cost of it, because it is true. Like, we are going to keep Netflix on or something, there's some things that we prioritize, because it is helping us just be okay, right?
I went through my bank account like 2 months ago and cut $200
That's amazing.
of foolery. And Netflix wasn't one of them, right? It was like my
Right.
Zoom and some other stuff.
Some
I was
other
like,
nonsense.
do I really need that $45 collagen
Hey,
from Facebook?
you know what?
Just
That's a great
crazy
idea.
stuff.
Actually, you can do that with Chat GPT and stuff.
Yes.
Because that's really where what we kind of help people do. If they're
Yeah,
like, well, I
that's
can't
really
afford
good.
it. Hey, what's the cheapest
you
thing
for
you
saying
could
that.
cut out? Because I'm going to not take this $45 collagen when I should just be at Monument Park working out anyway,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
just put that towards something. So
I
I
love
think
that.
a lot of it is just, we just sometimes.
You'll sit with people and you'll help them figure it out,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
If it's not fitting in the budget, sometimes it's about what
Yeah.
can you take out of the budget that you're not thinking about.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just a matter
And
of
too,
looking
now,
at it.
because we're in such a digital society, right? We're not all like, okay, $50 for the, we're just swiping,
Yeah.
or the automatic withdrawals. And, we got stuff on monthly bill pay that we probably should not
That's
even
true.
have.
Most
And
people, yes.
yeah, you can kind of we can help you find it somewhere, or even a base policy, right?
Yeah.
We just need to always have something in place for a rainy day, because we cannot take for granted that
Hey,
we'll be here
Tony.
tomorrow.
Right. What's up,
Yeah.
Tony?
Hey, Tony.
Educate these young people too.
And we will be
shout out to
partnering
him.
with
Walking with a
Tony.
Purpose?
Absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah.
We've done their walk before.
Yeah.
We've had them involved in something we're going to do for the children. But even that, like just talking to them, and I've really been trying to strategize, like, how do we get parents the information to understand? Because I think, again, it's just, we just don't know
just
that
don't know.
our kids can get insurance for $5, and the babies are even cheaper. Some of these like $3 a month. So it's super affordable when we lock it in early.
I love it. And then the thought of taking like a lump sum of money, if you get a bonus at work or your entrepreneurial business, you suddenly get a lot of money, or income tax return. You guys were saying people can pay for
Put
the
some of
whole
that
year.
whole
Pay
year.
for the
Yeah, a
whole
lot of
year,
people
pay
do
for the
that
year.
as well during income tax time. Yep.
Very smart strategy for people who are worried about the month to month. But right now, the sooner the better, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to wait, because tomorrow's not promised and your cost is lower. You're getting older every day. So the younger you are, the better it is. You could also have a health scare, and you're not
Yes.
going to go to the doctor and they say, we think you have cancer. You're going to just say, well, don't write that down. You're going to need to get the help you need, right?
That's what we're all
Right.
one diagnosis away from being uninsurable. So
Or your cost being astronomical. So
somebody got a doctor's appointment next week or
you
tomorrow.
get it today,
You better
right?
call me and Mandy today
Call
and
them
get
and
yourself
go to that doctor, and
automated.
they be like, you got the sugar or something.
I'm
You're
not
like,
the
"Lord,
sugar." Listen, and
You
we're
sound
not
like
really,
an old person.
and we're not
I
really
got the
the
sugar.
sugar daddy."
Listen, but the sugar, because even
Yeah.
that we can cover, but then you're kind of geared towards one company that specializes in that.
Mhm.
So, and that's the other thing too. I think some people are like, I have diabetes.
You
It
can still
doesn't matter what you have.
Yeah.
There's companies that specialize in that, right? We need to know your A1C, but that's a thing in America, right? So companies understand that. So that's also why it pays to work with an agent versus just buying something online,
Yeah.
because we can shop around, and we're probably contracted with up to like 20 different companies. So it's like we're shopping around for the best rate and price for you based on what your situation is, what strategy you want to do with the insurance, and kind of presenting you back some options.
Versus like what you got for your car insurance, and they try to, like
Mhm.
you have your car insurance
Mhm.
people, and then they're on the phone, they upsell you, right? You
Yeah.
need renter's insurance, you need mortgage, and you need life insurance. They can only sell for that
Yes.
company.
Mhm.
So you are very limited in what you can get, whereas we can shop around for you to get you your best rate and things like that. And also people like with your children's policies, I just want to backtrack really quick. We have a company that I particularly use when you're covering your children, because they have things called orphan benefits
Mhm.
and they have scholarships. So you can get scholarships, and say if something happens to you as the parent and your child is insured, the person where is going to be taking care of your kids, they'll get a benefit every month to help take care of your children. So it's all of the little things that we don't think about, because when
Right.
we die as parents, if you have minor children, somebody's responsible to take
Yes.
care of them.
Yeah.
How does that happen if you don't have any money
Wow.
left?
Very great point. Great point. Great point. Molly, little shout out to Nami Stark County, friends
Hey,
of ours. Shout out to
Molly.
Molly at Nami. She said, get insured today. These ladies have given me such a peace of mind that if something happens to me, my family will be okay,
Yes.
Molly.
Yeah.
Thank you for being an advocate.
peace of mind is
for
priceless.
so many things. Peace of mind is priceless. Thank you guys so much, ladies.
For
Let's
sure.
continue this conversation. You guys know you're always welcome to come back.
Absolutely.
And maybe there's different times throughout the year where it makes sense for us to continue these conversations to make sure people are informed. They can't know enough about it. So thank you guys again for
Absolutely.
coming.
And we're
Thank
looking
you
for
for having us.
partners.
Yes.
So understand that we're looking for like funeral homes, financial advisors, because we're not financial advisors,
Right.
right? We are life insurance agents. So we're going to protect your retirement. We're going to protect your life. But like, we're looking for partners so we can help refer people for certain situations because we don't know everything. So there's
Love
that.
that.
Well, if you're an estate planner, if you because life insurance is like the baseline, right?
Mhm.
But
Then
then you need a
everything else.
trust, you need some different things like that. And then also, last plug, we are looking for agents. So this is a part-time business opportunity. We can help you get licensed in Ohio. It's about $172 to get licensed. We do offer a licensing reimbursement, and you would work directly with Mandy or myself. And just putting a plug out there, this is a very lucrative business opportunity. I did retire myself this year, so I'm 45 and retired
Let's
from
go.
working. So it's definitely something that if you are laid off, if you want to build
My
something
sound effects was a little
part-time,
late. I was
Listen.
trying to clap for you. There we go. 45 and retired. Let's go. She was at that Walgreens for a long time. I see you
Listen.
at the Walgreens.
Yeah, that Walgreens is what made me know I needed to retire. No, no, actually,
Lord, get me out
honestly,
of
we were just so busy. I was literally in that store calling Mandy at home. Then it dawned on me, I'm like, why are you at your full-time job? Calling her at home at her full-time. Girl, just go run your business.
Right,
And,
just go make it happen.
literally, God has put us in a position, honestly, guys, to just help the community and help people make extra income. Because had someone told me 4 years when I started this part-time, I'd be retired, I never would have thought that. But the families we've been able to help and just the impact we've been able to make in the community is very positive. So if you're interested in getting licensed, if you think you can just educate people, and it's also not a hard sell. Like, we just have casual, this is how we sound on actual field trainings and appointments with people. This is, if you guys know us, this is what you get, right? As a mentor, but we've spent, Mandy's HR director, I spent 20 years in people leadership. So we can train you and teach you, and you can get out here and help us in the community. Because again, 8,000 people die every day, so we can't get to everybody. But if that's something you're interested in, definitely let us know. Send us a message, and we can give you more details.
I love it. I love it. I love it. How can people get a hold of you? If people want to reach you, get some insurance.
We're both on Facebook, I believe, with our real names. No, no nicknames or fancy names. I'm Pettis_effect on IG, but Rachel Pettis on most things.
Yeah.
Mandy Hannon Williams on Facebook and MH Legacy on Instagram. And then my phone number is 561-873-7094.
873 what?
561-873-7094 is my business phone number.
All right. I like that. All right. If y'all want to reach out, here, I'm going to put it in the comments here for the whole world to see. Just give her a call. She can help you out, and you can look them up on social media if you guys want more information. You can also reach out to me. I'll get you guys connected to them. Feel free to inbox me and say, hey, you had those ladies on. Any guests I ever have on, if you guys want to get connected to the guests, please reach out to me. I'd love to make those connections, especially resources like what you guys have to offer.
And thanks again, Lucas, for what you do in the community,
Yes,
for
for
allowing
sure.
us to. This is our second time being on talking about this important topic in the community. So we really appreciate what you do
And
as
for
well.
being a
It's
client.
my
And for
pleasure.
being a
Yes,
client.
all
Shout out to
around.
me.
See, I'm not only a client, I'm also the.
Right.
All right. I need to be an
He's been a
agent.
client for several years. He didn't get a
Yes.
policy yesterday and let us know.
I know, right. Sign up, sign me up
It's
to
been a
come
long-term
on.
relationship we got going here.
Absolutely, and you guys do a great job. And shout out to you guys and people. These are people. I would tell you if I brought somebody on that I didn't know, because suppose I could bring somebody on who's just sharing some information. But you are people who I know and know personally, and have hung out with, and know they're good people with a great purpose, and they're not just trying to sell you something. They really do care. They really are trying to help, and they will have honest conversations with you about whatever it is and make you feel safe and comfortable. So often the problem is things are intimidating. It's like, I don't want to put my financial situation out there. I don't want to tell them about my health. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I promise you, these ladies couldn't be more down to earth, have the most real conversations. They live amongst us, right? It's like they get it. They're from here. They know us. And I would highly recommend them. So if you guys are looking for insurance or haven't even thought about it, but today you are, I'd recommend you reach out to these ladies. So thank you guys so much again
Thank you.
for being on the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you one more time to our sponsor. Shout out to Sarda for always riding with us. Jessica Danielle Nails, go check her out at the Nail Bar at NC Nail Lounge, or one of her great nail techs. She has a great team of people. Linda Reibenstein at the Linda Reibenstein team. If you're looking for a realtor, you're thinking about buying or selling, you're not sure, you're hearing all this information but don't know what to do. She's been doing this for over 20 years. Reach out to her. I highly recommend her at the Linda Reibenstein team. Reach out to me if you want more information about her. And Ace Carpet Cleaning, ladies and gentlemen. Great time to get those carpets clean. Or if you want to get your house clean, there's also Jenny Can Cleaning. Jenny Can, if you know Jen, and always wearing pink. Wonderful lady. She's been a guest on the show. A friend of mine is the owner of Ace Carpet Cleaning. If you guys are interested in that, reach out to them. If you guys are interested in doing marketing with us, also reach out to us. We have this. We're also developing some new shows. If you guys saw our relationship show the other day, we're going to be doing more of that. And we are just excited about what we are continuing to do in this community. Shout out to all those who were involved in the R&B Fest. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. Thank you guys who are supporting this city. Balloon Classic is coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had guests on earlier this morning. If you guys missed that, go back and watch that. The Balloon Classic kicks off at 6:30 a.m. this Friday. I think that's when Danny's going up in a hot air balloon, so make sure you guys check that out. The drone show is this Friday at 10 p.m. Beautiful. They have more drones this year than ever before. Saturday also Balloon Classic, 6:30 a.m. The 5K is at 8 a.m. And then 4 p.m. the Balloon Classic kicks off again. And then 10 p.m. on Saturday is another drone light show. And then Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. is the Balloon Classic once again. Brought to you by Altman Hospital, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for being here on another episode of Lucas Live. We'll see you guys this Wednesday. We have a show Wednesday morning and we have a show Wednesday evening. So tune in for more. We'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Lucas Live. Everybody have a great day.